today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to train by yourself as a left back. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's a great day, get better. All right, guys, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is our warm-up. So you want to make sure before every single session, you do a good 5 to 10 minute warm-up that implements a lot of dynamic stretching and mobility stuff. So if you want to see a full warm-up routine, I'll leave a video linked up so you guys can check that out. But for this video, I'm just going to be talking about and focusing more on the drills for my left backs. So make sure you get a good warm-up of it. This is a great time to mentally prepare yourself for the session that you're about to kill. So let's go to the next part. Siri, how many yards is 20 meters? 21.87 yards. 5, 10, 15. Alright guys, so after we got our good warm-up in, now we're going to be doing our speed work. It's really important that you do your sprints and change of direction stuff at the beginning of the session when you're nice and fresh and when you have the most energy. At the end of the session, you're already going to be tired, so there's no point to be doing this, especially if you want to get faster. And no matter what position you play, especially as a left back or defender or even a striker or winger, you need to be quick. In today's game, people are getting faster and stronger, so it's really important that you keep up. The distance that most Premier League players cover, the majority is about 20 meters, which is about 21 yards. So we're going to be doing 20-yard sprints. And keep in mind, you want to do, the rest ratio is usually 1 to 12 all the way up to 1 to 20. So these are max effort sprints, and we're going to be doing anywhere from 5 to 10, taking a long break in between to ensure that we're going all out and that each sprint is as fast as possible. So this is something that you can implement once or twice in a week, especially maybe just once a week when you're playing in season, to ensure that you're not doing too much, because you're going to be performing a lot of sprints during your team training. So it's really important that you make sure you have a good balance, managing that stress and that volume throughout it. So make sure you're not doing too many sprints, but doing sprints is one of the best ways to actually get faster. So let's get started. So an example of how much you should rest between each sprint. Let's say it takes you 5 seconds to complete this 20-yard sprint. So if you want to take the minimum amount of rest, you're going to do 5 seconds times 12, and that should give you 60 seconds. So you're going to take a 60-second rest. And I know that might sound like a lot, but that's the point. And then if you want to take the maximum amount of rest, you're going to do 5 times 20, and that's going to give you 100 seconds. Remember, speed kills. And at the end of the day, you're not going to be performing that many sprints in the game, actually. It's like a very low percentage. I think it's about like 6% out of the entire game. Most of the game, you're actually just walking and jogging. But those sprints are very critical, and they need to be fast. And especially if you're a wing back or a fullback that plays on the left side, being able to make that run and behind is very crucial as well. We're going to walk into this one. Another tip I have for you guys is always try to work on your running form. Grab your phone, film yourself, and see where you can make some improvements. If you can utilize less energy while running, you're going to actually have an advantage over your opponents. A lot of times, soccer players tend to not have the best running form, and we end up using actually more energy than we should be. So if you can use less energy and run faster, it's going to help you at the end of the day. It's a beautiful day out. I'm just super grateful to be injury-free, to be healthy, and to be out here. Nothing beats playing the beautiful game on a nice day. All right, guys, so the next thing that we're going to be doing are curved runs. So these are going to essentially be sprints, but instead of just going down a straight line, we're going to add some movement to them. It's shown that most sprints in a soccer game are actually not linear, but actually curved. And that makes sense, because a lot of times when we curve our runs and behind lines, we're not just going straight. You know, you don't want to always do linear straight sprints, but you also want to implement some curved sprints because it's going to translate better to the game. So make sure you implement both. I think that both are beneficial and they both have their time and place. So now we're going to be doing our curved runs / sprints. So you're going to be starting at this cone, and then you're just going to set up another cone a couple yards out wide that you're going to have to go around. And this is going to mimic more game realistic movements in a game. It's going to translate a little bit better. So same thing, you're going to be taking longer breaks to make sure that you maximize each single rep. So these are going to be extremely beneficial. Like I said, you can implement different variations. You can walk into it and then react, or you can kind of jog into it, or you can do a stationary. So for this purpose, I'm just going to do it from a stationary position. And make sure that you practice curved runs, not just from one side, but also work on the other, because this could also lead to some imbalances. You might notice that you actually might have one side that's actually stronger, be able to push off, especially when you're doing a curved run. One side might feel more comfortable, so it's important that you practice on both sides. Like I did here, I set up 2 different cones so I can practice, making that curved run. Whether if I put on the left side or the right side, I know that I'm gonna be efficient. I'm not gonna have any weaknesses. Now that I'm done with that 50K, I could really focus on, my performance and focus more on the speed. Because running long distance, it is not beneficial for soccer players. That's for sure. Like I mentioned before, I definitely noticed that I was way more comfortable making the run when I was going to the right side, because I am dominant in my right foot. So when I was going to my left side, I definitely didn't feel as strong. But that's something, as I do more of, it's going to feel easier and get more comfortable to the point where I won't feel that difference. So we did our linear straight sprints, we did our curved sprints, and now we're going to be doing something that's extremely important for defenders. And that thing is going to be backtracking or back shuffling and then going into a sprint. So this is something, as a defender myself, I feel like I wasn't the best at it, and it's because I didn't practice enough. I wasn't bad at it, but I definitely know if I put more time into this, I would have been so much better in reacting and being able to catch up to really fast players. But I feel like I did a good job in reading players, but when it came to being quick and reacting to that, I feel like sometimes I was beat too easily. So this is something extremely, extremely important for defenders to get good at, and that's rotating the hips and switching sides. So what you're going to be doing, you're going to start here at this white line. You're going to back shuffle a couple of steps, turn, and then you're going to go right into a sprint. So the same concept, this is going to be, essentially all out, full out sprints. This might happen more frequently than you think in a game. So this is something that you really have to get really good at and nail down the form. There's a lot of football coaches that have their players do this, but soccer players have to be just as good, because this is something that happens very frequently, and it's happened to many players where people end up getting dropped because they're not able to stay balanced and be able to turn quickly enough to be able to react to the attacker's movement. So when you're doing this, you want to be nice and light on those toes and the ball of the feet, because if you're too flat-footed, you're going to be beat too easily, and you're more likely to fall off balance and get embarrassed, and we don't want that. So you're going to get nice and low on the balls of your foot, just like this. You're going to take 2 steps, shift, and then you're going to pick up those legs, turn those hips, and then accelerate to catch up. So let's say they end up taking a big touch down the line. You're going to be able to catch up to them and react. And the defenders who are really good at this are so hard to beat, because let's say you're an attacker, you cut over, he reacts quickly, you cut over again, you react quickly, and then you think that you got that space and he takes that big touch, but if you're able to react quickly to that touch and win that ball back, then you're going to make that attacker's job so much harder, and he's going to have a really bad game. So this is something you need to really nail down. And like I said, one tip is stay on nice and light on your toes, because that's going to be easier for you to turn, and make sure you rotate your hips, especially in the sprint part. So make sure you do a couple of these every time you do some sprint or speed, and you can even do this at a low intensity to maximize and get better at the form. So make sure you do this almost not every session, but I would say maybe every other session. Touch. I mean, if you don't want to end up like Boateng, what Messi did to him, do this drill. I promise you. You don't want to end up like him. Since he's taller, when Messi cut back on him, he was off balance. So the only option he had was to fall. And that's why it's so important to be nice and low on the balls of your foot so that you can have a better, firmer base and you're less likely to fall. Because when you're upright like this, higher up, and someone cuts on you, man, you're going to feel like you're imbalanced, because especially if you're trying to twist like this and you're high up, the chances of you falling are much higher. So stay nice and low, balls of your foot, and work on that twisting hip rotation. And I promise you do this more, it's going to feel more natural, to the point where even if someone beats you and takes that touch, you're going to be able to catch up. So let's move on to the next thing. All right, guys, so the next thing that we're going to be working on by ourselves as a left back is two things that I feel like are very important for a left back. So you have to be able to cross. You have to be able to whoop it in with your left foot. So this is going to be a great drill for you guys, that if you're by yourself and you have no one to work on or cross the ball to, this is going to be the same thing, and it's going to really show me whether you can whip it in and with good placement. So it's essentially a finishing drill on the goal, but the reality is it's just going to work on building that consistency of being able to pick out a target, whether that's in the box or on the goal. So we're going to do a simple finishing drill that's going to be translating over to crossing. So let's get all the balls out. Perfect. And this is going to be like the second best thing to crossing, because I feel like once I improved my left foot finishing, it actually translated extremely well to my crossing, because I was able to whip in the ball with power and pace and with great accuracy. So if you're a left back player, it's really important that you work on finishing with your left, crossing with your left, but you're not going to be shooting with your laces. So if let's say you're a left-footed left back and you tend to strike the ball with your laces, this drill is not to finish with your laces. You're going to be curling the ball, whipping it in to the box like you would. But now you're going to be whipping it in far post. And then we're also going to be doing whipping it into the near post as well, because it's good that you get comfortable being able to place it in two different areas consistently. So it's very simple. All you're going to do is you're going to start off with one ball right here. And just like you would in a cross, right? You're going to take the ball down the line and you're going to whip it in, right? So all you're going to do is you're going to take an explosive touch forward, and then you're just going to work on whipping it in. So you're going to get a lot of reps in until you can start placing it consistently. So the goal is take an explosive touch and whip it in. So as you can tell, my first 2 reps were atrocious, but that's the point. It's in a good area, but it's not what I want. So touch here and then whoop it in. So same thing. Like the ball needs to be in the air, and there needs to be a little more power, but the more you practice, the easier it's going to get. So touch forward. Ooh. Oh my gosh. That would have been a golazo. So touch. So right there, I don't know if you guys noticed, I prioritized the power over the technique. And yes, the ball went to the corner, but it wasn't the technique I was looking for. So sometimes if you have to slow down to, master the technique, please do so, because I see too many players, they just want to kill the ball. If you have to slow down and that's not the speed you want it to be at, be patient. It's going to come. We got this. Sí se puede. This is good for anybody because you got to get good at finishing. That was better. Touch. Oh my goodness. I'm trash. Okay, a couple more. Gotta wrap that hip around it. And one thing I pride myself in is I feel like I got really good at crossing with both my feet. And this is something I did all the time. And it's just getting comfortable using both feet. and performing hundreds and hundreds of reps. And you really need to analyze your form, because if you're just shooting into shooting, if you're just sorry, that made no sense. If you're shooting just to shoot, then you're not going to get it. You have to like analyze each rep. Did I hit it well? What part of the foot did it feel good? Did it come off my foot well? These are all questions you need to ask yourself after each rep. And then filming yourself with your phone, put it in your shoe, and looking at your form, be like, wow, like this was a good shot. This was a good shot that I took. What can I analyze from my form there? Did I plant my foot firmly? Did I hit the right part of my? And then you're trying to replicate that as many times to the point where every single shot, every single rep, or trying to get as many reps as possible to mimic that perfect form. So these are tips that really help me get better at it, and that's something hopefully can help you guys. Oh my goodness, the last shot, that was crazy, almost a golazo. But yeah, guys, so that is one of the drills that you can do to work on that crossing, and it's also to work on that finishing too. But remember, for this drill, you're not hitting with your laces. You're curling the ball and you're whooping it with the inside of the foot to add, to mimic a cross like you would in a game. So this is going to work on that accuracy, it's going to work on that power, and it's going to also work on getting more comfortable using that foot. So let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, so my battery ended up dying on my lav mic, so I'm just going to have to talk to the camera. But the last and final drill that we're going to be doing as left back, this could apply as a winger as well, is taking it up, cutting it in, and finishing on goal. There's going to be times where, as the left back, if you're playing the fullback position, or even if you swap places with your winger, you might have to be able to take it up the field and create an opportunity, whether that's crossing into the box or cutting in and finishing on goal. So that's exactly what this drill is going to be working on. We're going to be working on driving towards these three cones right here. You're going to cut in, finish with your right, you're going to come back, and then you're going to take it down the line and finish with your left to get good at finishing with both feet. Because if there is an opportunity where you have to take it up the field, you want to have that capability to be able to create an opportunity and potentially score. So this is a very simple drill to do, and it's very beneficial. Not only are you going to improve your finishing, but you're going to become more of a dangerous player on the pitch. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment down below, and just know that football is such a simple game. You don't have to do all these crazy drills. You don't need all these crazy hurdles. At the end of the day, you just have to master the basics and break it down in a way where you just have to master the simple things that your position does. And if you get really good at them, you're probably going to end up being a really good player. So thank you guys for watching. As always, it's a great day to get better, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette. Yeah, riding around the city with a stick.